Imagine traveling 30,000 years into the past. You step out of your time machine, expecting to see hunters chasing mammoths, people making stone tools, children running around a campfire. Then suddenly, someone kicks a ball. Wait, what? Did ancient humans actually play football? Was there a prehistoric World Cup? Did cavemen argue over handballs? Did someone yell, "Ref, that was a foul"? As funny as that sounds, the real answer is much more interesting. First of all, what even counts as football? If by football you mean 22 players, goalposts, referees, jerseys, and a stadium packed with screaming fans, then no. Ancient humans didn't play football as we know it today. But if you simply mean people kicking a ball for fun, the answer becomes surprisingly complicated. Because humans have loved games for thousands of years. And kicking objects is one of the simplest games anyone can invent. So, what did they kick? Well, certainly not a brand new football. There were no sports shops, no air pumps, no synthetic leather. Instead, people probably experimented with whatever nature provided. Bundles of dried grass tied together, animal bladders inflated with air, balls woven from plant fibers, tightly wrapped animal skins. Even large seed pods or lightweight pieces of bark may have been kicked around for fun. Not every object bounced very well, and some probably fell apart after only a few kicks. Imagine scoring the winning goal, only for the ball to explode into a pile of dry leaves. Game over. Children probably invented the first games. Watch children anywhere in the world. Give them almost anything, and they'll turn it into a game. A stick becomes a sword. A stone becomes treasure. A pile of dirt becomes a castle. Ancient children were almost certainly no different. While adults hunted or prepared food, children likely chased one another, threw objects, balanced on logs, climbed rocks, and invented simple games using whatever they could find. Some of those games probably involved kicking things, not because someone invented football, but because it's fun. Games were practiced for real life. This is where things become fascinating. Many ancient games weren't just entertainment. They taught useful skills. Running made you faster. Dodging helped you avoid danger. Throwing improved hunting accuracy. Working together strengthened teamwork. Even a simple chasing game could prepare children for adult life. So if groups kicked an object toward a target, it wasn't necessarily about winning a trophy. It was also building coordination, balance, and cooperation. But did they have teams? Probably. Humans naturally form groups, whether it's families, friends, or entire tribes. Imagine 10 children standing in a clearing. Someone says, "You defend that tree. We'll aim for the big rock." Congratulations. Without realizing it, they've just invented teams. No uniforms needed. The world's oldest ball games. As humans formed larger societies, organized ball games began to appear. Thousands of years after prehistoric hunter-gatherers, ancient civilizations created games using balls made from leather, cloth, or natural rubber. Some were played for fun. Others were linked to ceremonies or religious traditions. Each culture developed its own rules. These games weren't the same as modern football, but they show that humans have enjoyed ball games for a very long time. Imagine being the worst player. Let's be honest. Every game has that one person. The player who somehow kicks the ball in the wrong direction, trips over absolutely nothing, or celebrates before realizing the game isn't over. Prehistory probably had that person too. Imagine everyone chasing the ball, only for one enthusiastic hunter to accidentally kick it straight into the river. Now the whole tribe has to go swimming. Safe to say, he wasn't chosen first next time. Winning was about more than fun. Games also strengthened friendships. They built trust. They taught children how to cooperate. They helped people stay active during quieter seasons. And perhaps most importantly, they gave people a reason to laugh. Life in prehistoric times was difficult. Food wasn't guaranteed. Danger was everywhere. Moments of joy mattered. A simple game could lift everyone's spirits after a long day. So, did ancient humans play football? Not in the way we know it today. There were no famous clubs, no transfer market, no golden boots, and absolutely no one arguing online about who the greatest player of all time was. But they almost certainly played games involving running, chasing, throwing, and quite possibly kicking simple handmade balls. The human love of play didn't begin with modern sports. It began the moment our ancestors discovered that life wasn't only about survival. Sometimes, it was also about having fun. And maybe, just maybe, the very first football match wasn't played in a giant stadium. It happened in a quiet clearing, between a few laughing children, kicking a bundle of grass beneath an open sky. No trophies, no medals, just smiles. And perhaps, that was the greatest game of all. But if ancient humans didn't invent football, who did? Believe it or not, the story doesn't end in prehistoric times. As humans settled into villages, built cities, and formed civilizations, their games became more organized. People stopped kicking random bundles of grass and started creating actual rules. One of the oldest known football-like games came from ancient China. It was called kuju, which simply means kick the ball. Players kicked a leather ball, trying to send it through a small opening without using their hands. Sound familiar? In some ways, it looked surprisingly similar to modern football. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, the ancient Maya and Aztecs played a very different ball game. Their ball was made from natural rubber. But there was one big catch. Players weren't allowed to use their hands or feet. Instead, they hit the ball using their hips, shoulders, and sometimes their forearms. Imagine explaining that rule to a modern football player. You can't use your feet. Wait, then why is it called a ball game? Would a caveman make a good football player? Now here's a fun question. If we took the strongest prehistoric hunter and placed him in today's Premier League, how would he do? Well, he'd probably be incredibly fit. Ancient humans walked enormous distances every day. They climbed hills, crossed rivers, carried heavy loads, chased animals for hours. Their stamina was incredible. But football isn't just about fitness. It's about strategy, passing, positioning, teamwork, understanding the rules. Imagine the referee blowing the whistle. The prehistoric player stares in confusion, then picks up the ball and runs away with it. Technically, that's one way to win. Just not in football. The world's first goalkeeper? Imagine this. Two groups of prehistoric children have marked out a playing area. One tree is the left goalpost. Another tree is the right. A pile of rocks marks the center. Someone says, "Don't let the ball past you." Congratulations. The first goalkeeper has just been born. No gloves. No fancy boots. No dramatic dives. Just a determined child standing between two trees, trying not to get hit in the face. Why do humans love ball games so much? This might be the biggest mystery of all. Why does almost every culture invent games? Scientists believe play is one of humanity's greatest teachers. When children play, they learn balance, timing, coordination, communication, problem solving, and teamwork. Adults benefit too. Games reduce stress, strengthen friendships, encourage cooperation, and bring communities together. Perhaps that's why sports have survived for thousands of years. Because they help us become better, not just stronger. From campfires to stadiums. Think about how far we've come. A simple object made from grass eventually became a leather ball. Small clearings became playing fields. Friendly village games became national competitions, then international tournaments. Today, millions of people fill stadiums. Billions watch from home. Players become global superstars. Children dream of scoring the winning goal in a World Cup final. But somewhere, hidden beneath all that history, is a much simpler beginning. A few children, laughing, running, and kicking whatever they could find. So, did ancient humans play football? Probably not the game we know today. There were no leagues, no trophies, no referees, no transfer windows, no commentators shouting, "What a goal!" But they almost certainly loved to play. They chased. They competed. They laughed. They invented games. And somewhere along humanity's long journey, those simple games slowly evolved into the sport that billions love today. Football wasn't created in a single afternoon. It grew. One generation after another. One game after another. One kick after another. So the next time you watch a football match, or kick a ball with your friends, remember this. The story of football didn't begin in a massive stadium. It didn't begin with television cameras or famous clubs. Its deepest roots may stretch back to a time when humans had no cities, no schools, no money, only imagination. And perhaps some curious child looked at a round object lying on the ground, gave it a kick, watched it roll away, and thought, that was fun. Thousands of years later, the world is still kicking the ball. The players have changed. The stadiums have changed. The rules have changed. But the joy of the game has never left us. And that may be the oldest victory in football history.